So example 10, I'm converting to polar coordinates by replacing y with r sine theta and x with r cosine theta, and there's a negative. So now I'm actually going to move those both to the same side and set it equal to 0, and you can see why. I didn't mean to put that equals in there. Sine theta plus r cosine theta equals 0. So then we can, oh, what did I do wrong? I have a typo in this problem unless it's different than the one on my paper. Nope, I'm just looking at the wrong question. Oops. Okay, so then if we factor out r and we look at just sine theta plus cosine theta, we're just going to think logically here for a minute. I don't know if you like the thought of thinking logically, but anyway, we have r equals 0. We're going to like solve this using, we're going to kind of solve this using the zero product property because that will lead us to the equation. So this gives us r equals 0. Well, a radius of 0 doesn't really even make sense, right? Because that would just be a point at 0, 0. So let's think about this part of the equation. Sine theta plus cosine theta equals 0. We need to think of an angle that makes that true. What angle would we have a sine value and a cosine value that are identical but opposites? Pi fourths, yeah. So actually not exactly pi fourths. It would have to be, this one would be 3 pi fourths. So that happens at 3 pi fourths, correct? And then the other possibility would be negative for the sine and positive for the cosine. So what angle would that be? That would be 7 pi fourths, right? Which would be negative pi fourths. Now let's think about that for a minute. 3 pi fourths is a line going this way. Negative pi fourths is a line going that way. This and r basically can be anything because this turned out to r not mattering when we tried solving for r. So r can be anything along this angle or along this angle. It could be a positive r, a negative r, it could be any value. I think we just found an equation of a line. In fact, if you think about this equation itself, y equals negative x, it's a line with a slope of negative 1. It's literally that line right there. So now what we need to analyze is what the equation would be for this in polar equations. Well, it would just be theta, because r isn't going to matter. R can be anything. So the answer is theta equals 3 pi fourths. And we don't need to have a separate equation that says theta equals negative pi fourths because that's basically the same angle. It's just forward and backwards. So like positive r's, negative r's on the same line. So that is actually our answer right there. Is that weird? I know it's weird. Yeah.